Well, as you can probably guess, the one thing that Lane said would never happen on our homestead was getting goats. And yet here we are with 2 new baby goats. But keep watching the video, there's a huge surprise at the end. No.
Bugs?
Yeah, they'll eat bugs if they get stuck in the grass that they're eating. Even before we moved out to the farm, Lane always said, I don't want goats. We're never getting goats, no goats ever, no matter what. And from time to time, the kids would ask about them when we would drive by a farm that had goats or something like that. And Lane would always say, yep, that's great for them. We're not getting goats, not ever. And obviously, somehow we ended up with 2 baby goats. Several weeks ago, I came to Lane and said, you know, we might consider maybe getting goats. And he said no. And I said, okay. And then a couple of days later, I came back and I said, you know, here are all the benefits from having goats. And we might just ask around and see. And he said, okay, but I am not going to help take care of them. And I said, that's fine. He didn't want them. And so I said, you know, I'm the one that really wants them. I'm happy to take care of them. So we have some friends at church who raise goats and sell them. And so we bought these 2 little Nigerian dwarf goats from them. They are sisters. They're actually part of a triplet set. And so we have named one of them Molly. The one on the right is Molly. She's got a whiter face. And then the one on the left is Maisie. And they have been so much fun. As is always our style, we were kind of scrambling to finish up the goat pen before the goats arrived. And so we fenced off this little area for them for now. And then eventually we're going to make all that back pasture there goat pasture. And so they'll be able to be out on pasture for all of their life, really. And then this is our old dog run. Paloma never ever uses it, and there's her doghouse where the goats can go in at night. And Lane put a board on across half of the top to protect them from any rain or hail that we might have. And so we can shut them up into the small fence, like if we're going to leave the farm and we don't want to have to worry about them escaping. And then they also will be able to roam freely out in this little pasture, which is eventually just going to be a goat run. And then soon they'll have a lot more pasture as we can afford to fence it in.
Good girl. Don't dump them out, Lou.
So these sweet girls were born on February 27th, and they are about 6 weeks old, and they will need to be bottle fed 3 times a day until they're 8 weeks old, and then we can start transitioning them to grass and weeds and hay and things like that. And they will eat grass and weeds occasionally now, but it's been a lot of fun to bottle feed them. I have never bottle fed a goat before. This is my first time ever owning goats. But it's been really sweet to get lots of snuggles and watch the kiddos help out too. Good morning. Well, it is our first full day with the goats, and they spent the night in their pen. They did really well. We just heard a little bit of bleeding in the nighttime, but not too much, so I think they're happy. And we're gonna feed them and let them play in the backyard for a little bit, and then pin them up before we go run our errands for the day.
Yay!
Yay!
Oh, ah. Oh, hey.
No, put the milk back, sweetie. Go put it over there.
Okay. I see the mouse.
Open the door all the way. This one's Molly. Whoa.
And I'm going to eat it by my straps.
She eating my dress. Stop that, Molly.
Molly. No, Molly. Molly. A girl one. Molly, sweet. Sorry, but I'm going to eat it by my straps and then not one point grass.
Want some more? That's all? Goat chores are done for now. We're gonna let them play in the backyard and go water the garden and let some chickens out and stop eating my shoe. And check on some baby chicks. Sound good?
Yeah.
Sound good?
I'm going to play with goats.
Okay.
Well, you can see the little goats there in the background running around and having fun. And it has definitely been a great adventure having them on the farm. But being in the garden will always be my favorite part of the homestead. We got our tomatoes, some of our tomatoes in the ground. A sweet lady at church gifted me about 15 tomato plants that were already mature enough to get planted. And then our peas are starting to grow, our onions are growing, and I've got lettuce and carrots that are coming up. And then the potatoes are looking really good. And we're getting ready to gear up for April. April is probably our biggest planting month, and we will be planting beans and corn and green beans and summer squash and melons and watermelon and all kinds of things I can't even think right now, and getting our peppers and cucumbers and tomatoes into the ground. So the garden is just going to be really fruitful and abundant, hopefully, this year. And I am so looking forward to enjoying all the produce. Well, while I was watering the garden, one of the kiddos left the gate to the backyard open, and the baby goats both escaped. So now we have to go and catch them and put them back in the pen.
Oh!
Wait, don't walk after Richard. Just freeze right there. Richard, freeze.
Escapee number 2. A blue egg? Oh, pretty.
Need egg.
Good.
We're just trying it.
Yeah. Oh no. One chicken made it in, didn't she? Is that one real or fake?
Real.
No, the one on the floor. That one's a fake one, isn't it? Yeah.
Nope.
Nope.
Just fake it. Oh! That's Minnie.
That's all? All right. It's okay, Tori. We're gonna pull out your chicken.
These are our baby chicks that we showed in the video a few weeks ago, and they have gotten big enough and fully feathered enough to be able to survive without constant heat. And so right now what I'm doing is taking out the heating pads that we use to keep them warm. For our chicks, we don't use a heat plate and we don't use a heat lamp. We use heating pads, which is a lot cheaper and a much more natural way for them to stay warm. It really mimics more what they would have if they were being raised by their mama hen. And so we're going to be getting some more chicks in May, and when we get those chicks from the hatchery, they'll be even smaller than these, and I'm going to do a full video on how we set up our brooder and how we use the heating pad to protect them and keep them warm, and how we change the temperatures as they grow older and everything like that. It's been a wonderful method for us. We've been able to raise all of our chicks outside. We've done this successfully with over 100 chicks, and all of them have thrived and done really well. And it's just the best method for us, especially because I don't want chicks inside our home. Our house is too small to have a bunch of chicks and the 5 of us in it. And I don't want all the dust and germs and noise and smell that comes with these cute baby chicks. Hey! So I am currently driving back home from picking up a goat that we had put in a crate, and she figured out how to get out of the crate. Fortunately, I am close to home, but yeah, she is not a small goat, and she is loose here in the car with me. So we got 2 baby goats yesterday. And decided that we wanted a really good milking goat, and I found a La Mancha Nubian cross that is in milk, and the lady said that she would give me a good deal on her because she's trying to make room for her other goats. Oh, she's pooping everywhere. Anyone who ever thought that maybe farm life was super glamorous or as fancy as it is on Instagram, no, this is farm life. Loose goats pooping in your van that you're gonna have to clean because now it smells like goat. So anyway, I am gonna try and make it home as quickly as I can before she goes nuts and comes up here and causes me to crash. Alright, we are almost home. I'm not gonna lie, I was for sure booking it down the highway because I was worried that if she started freaking out and like thrashing around, and if she kicked me, that she could cause me to have an accident and we would both die or hurt ourselves or hurt or kill someone else. So I was going down the highway about as fast as I felt comfortable, and the stretch of highway that leads to our house almost always has cops on it out trying to catch speeders. So by the grace of God, there were no cops, although I think I might have had a get out of jail free card when they saw the goat in the van. But she's been real good. She's just kind of hanging out back there, and I don't know. So we are almost home, and gonna get her out, and then I will tell you more about her.
Alright, well, that worked.
All right, got her out. Come on, Eleanor.
Come on. Your new home.
Come on, Eleanor. Well, as you probably guessed, this is Eleanor, our newest goat. So we went from Lane saying no goats ever
to 2 baby goats, and then in the span of 24 hours, we went from 2 baby goats to 2 baby goats and a 3-year-old doe who is in milk. Eleanor is a La Mancha Nubian cross, and so she should give us a really good amount of milk, but also really good creamy milk. She is not used to being milked. Her previous owner was using her to nurse baby goats that she had weaned from their mother before. And so this is going to be a learning experience for all of us. She is very skittish, but I'm hoping that over time, as we love on her and give her treats, that she will bond with us and that she will be a great little milking goat. She also is not used to being out on pasture. Her previous owner was keeping her in a pen and feeding her hay. So I'm hoping with fresh air and sunshine and fresh grass and weeds, she will be living her best goat life and end up just being a sweet little addition to our farm. So that is how we went from 0 goats and saying no goats ever to 3 goats.
I love you.
I love you more.